Hi, Milo. Hi. Are you hot? Are you hot? Hmm? Are you sleepy and hot? Hmm? Sleepy and hot. Oh, is it nap time? Is it nap time? Do you want to lay at my feet? Yeah, want to make a card? Okay. I love you. Hi, this is Jenna with Brown Dog Craft Company. And today we're sharing a really fun shaker card using some newly released products by Pretty Pink Posh. So to start out, I am taking an A2 panel. This is just Nina 110 pound in white. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm taking the layered citrus stencils from Pretty Pink Posh. That's a 3-layer stencil. And this is the first stencil, stencil A. And I am ink blending on some Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink in Celery. So that's the lightest shade in the ink trio for that family of greens. So I'm using my Stamp and Stick mat to hold down my cardstock and the stencil, and then ink blending all over. Now these stencils are all layered, or not layered, they are layered. They're all labeled at the bottom, A, B, and C, so you can tell which stencil goes first and which way is face up. So this is stencil B, and it's like the outside. So I'm going to use the darkest shade, which is Perfection. I started with the middle shade Lime Malicious and decided it wasn't dark enough. So here we go with Perfection. We'll go everywhere here. Now, what I really like about these stencils in particular is they can be limes, like I'm making. They can be lemons. They could be oranges. They could be grapefruit. Maybe even tomatoes. So there's lots of different options to make different cards with these stencils. And then there's a coordinating stamp and die set that we will use for citrus. It's called Citrus, and it has some flowers and some sentiments and some fruit. So definitely, again, you could do orange or lemons or limes. Lots of different options there. Here is the third stencil, stencil C, and lime juice is probably not blue. It's probably sort of green. However, I wanted to add some blue to the card, and I thought this was a good way to tie the blue that I'm going to add to the card to the background. And I think it looks cute still. So here I have Marine, Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink. And there we go. It looks so cute. So to add some more depth to the background and get rid of some of those white spaces and make everything kind of a little bit more cohesive, I'm taking a clear block and the Perfection ink, and I'm just smearing some of that Perfection ink onto the block, adding a little bit of water, and then picking it up with my paintbrush and then tapping it on to the cardstock. So it's going to give us some splatter on the background. There we go. So now we'll just set that aside to dry for maybe 5 minutes or so. And here I've stamped a couple of flowers and some leaves and a little like water burst. And I'm going to color them in. Super simple coloring. So the leaves are going to be G43 and G40. And then the water, the little water droplets or drink droplets, and the flowers are going to be B12 and B000. So nothing fancy here, just a little bit of blending to give them some color. And these are from the Citrus stamp set. So after I get those all colored in, I will go ahead and set those aside and die cut those. So now here, this is from the Fruit Mug Editions die set. So the mug itself is from the Winter Mug set that was released last winter, and then there's a new shaker window in the new Fruit Mug Edition set that cuts out that cute pattern for the shaker. So here I'm just taking some Perfection ink and blending it around the edges and then a little bit on the solid mug. So the solid mug will be the backer of the shaker. and the mug with the window cut out of it will be the very front. So we need a piece of acetate in the shape of the mug to hold our shaker bits in. So I'll pull that out in just a minute here. But here I've got some limes that I cut out from the mug edition set, and I'm going to add some Perfection ink to those. When you die cut it, it cuts out the inside of the limes too, but I wanted those to be a different color, so I just pushed those out and did not ink blend those. So you'll see the contrast. So here's the mug that I cut out of acetate, and I want to stamp a sentiment on it. I'm going to stamp "You're the Zest," and in order for ink to stay on acetate, you need to use StazOn ink. So there's quite a few colors. I have two colors that I use most often are cotton white and black. So here I'm going to use black, and I'll line that up where that should go. And then here's the StazOn. It will stain your stamp, but that's okay. Your stamp will still work. So if you stamp with a normal dye ink on acetate, it basically never dries and will smudge whenever you touch it. So it's stamped really well on the first try. Now I've got this cute little banner, and it's just in one of my die sets. I don't know which one. It fell out of some die set quite some time ago, and I like it for sentiments, so I just leave it out on my desk. So if I had to guess, I'd probably say it's from something in Lawn Fawn, but I'm not positive. So here I've got another sentiment, a secondary sentiment. It says, "Wish I could give you a squeeze," and that's from the Citrus stamp set. So I'm putting that little banner in the Misty, and I'm stamping it with Hero Arts Unicorn White Pigment ink, and that's the ink that I like to stamp with whenever I'm going to heat emboss with white instead of using clear embossing ink. You can use either one. They both work well. So I just, depending on the day and what I feel like, that's what I pull out. So here we'll add some white embossing powder and heat set that. And I realized I never told you what color cardstock I was using. So this blue is Hero Arts Lapis cardstock, and then the green is Hero Arts Kiwi. And then my acetate is from Lawn Fawn. I like their acetate because it's on the thinner side, so it's a little bit easier to die cut. So we'll give that a good heating, and then I'll just wipe off any leftover anti-static powder with a cloth. So here I have my foam strips, and first we're going to glue the acetate piece to the back of the front piece. Do you follow? So that's the very front piece of the mug, and we'll put the shaker behind it. And it does take a little bit for the glue to set, but so when you hold it up, it says "You're the Zest" on the front there. I'll use my clear block to help hold that down while the glue dries. In the meantime, while we're waiting for those to dry, I will die cut these cute little images that we colored. And then here's my foam strips. So this is what I'm going to use to build up my shaker. So if you take the backing off of the foam strips, they're super pliable and you can bend them. So if you leave the backer on, they don't bend as easily. So you do have to deal with them being sticky, but you can just shape it around your cardstock. So I'll make sure there's no gaps in the foam. We don't want any of the little clay pieces to fall out. The clay pieces we're going to use today are also new from Pretty Pink Posh's recent release. They are the layered, no, what are they? Tropical Paradise Mix. So here I'm going to add in this cute little straw that I cut out of that same blue cardstock. You can also cut out like a stir stick. There's all sorts of fruit that you can cut out. I thought the straw was really cute. Oh, and there's ice cubes. So here I'll add just a little bit more foam tape. And then in that little well, I'll pour the clay pieces. And let's see, in the clay, it looks like there's little pineapples and bananas and kiwis and little white discs, and then like some orange and green and yellow pastel-y little clay. They're super cute. And then I'll put the backer on, the solid mug backer, and there's our shaker. So now we'll add some ice cubes, which I cut the ice cubes out of Lawn Fawn pixie dust. It's like a white glitter cardstock. But you could also cut these from like a vellum or a pearlescent vellum. There's a lot of options for the ice cubes, I think. Now there is like an insert to make a beverage in the cup, but I didn't cut it out and add it because I'm covering it up with the ice cubes anyway. So here's one of those little lime pieces, and that's the ink blended one, and I'm going to glue it down there, and then I'll add a little bit of glue on the inside, and when I put the little green pieces back in, they'll be a different color since we did an ink blend on those. So I'm just using an embellishment tool to help pick those up and put those back where they belong. And then we'll add 2 more to the card later once we get everything adhered down. So I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape behind this straw, since the mug is has foam tape in between the cardstock there. The straw needs a little bit of foam tape. And then I'll adhere the mug down to the card with just some liquid glue. And I'll put that in the center, as far as like left to right, but a little bit above center as far as like top to bottom, because we're going to add that little sentiment strip down at the bottom. So there we go. Now I'll add the other lime here, or the lime slice on the right, kind of tuck it underneath the mug a little bit so it's sort of half peeking out, and then add some more little insides there. And then we'll add the third lime slice over on the left side. And I want to put it on the mug, but the mug has quite a bit of dimension. So I'm going to cut a large foam square in half and then double it up. So I've got 2 layers of foam square there. And then I'll add liquid glue to the right side, and that way I can hang this little lime slice halfway off the card, or halfway off the mug. And then I'll add some glue to where the insides would go, and then sort of layer that on top and put those where they belong. And this little one wants to give me some trouble here, but we'll get it in here eventually. Now I forgot to film it, but I did add some white accents to the card with my white gel pen. So I added those to the straw and the lime slices and the mug. So here I've got some foam tape I put on the back of the blue cardstock and then glued down this little flower that we put together. And then I'll add another flower over here at the top of the mug. So this card was, it came together really quick. I love these sets from Pretty Pink Posh, and I love that they keep coming out with new sets for the mug that you can add on to. There's like a Valentine's Day and an Easter and Get Well. I think I'm missing one, but they're really cute. So I'm happy they keep coming out with new ones, and I hope they come out with more. So here I'm going to add some Pretty Pink Posh pearls in Blue Sky and Limeade. So the Blue Sky, I'm putting the smallest ones as the center of the flowers. And then I'll add the Limeade ones. I'll scatter them around the card. I scatter 5 of those around the card. And then I add a little blue heart down at the bottom there on the sentiment. And those are just blue clay hearts. I have a little wheel of them that I got off of Etsy, and there's a whole bunch of different colors. So any clay heart embellishment would do. So I'll get these all added, and then we're going to work on creating a cute inside piece for the inside of the card. So I've got a white panel here, and I die cut it with the largest of the Lawn Fawn outside in stitch rectangle stackables. So it measures 4 by 5 1/4, and it has a cute stitching detail on the outside. So on the bottom right there, I'm going to stamp a lime slice in celery, and I'll stamp the little droplet in the marine. So again, I know it should be green in real life, but this isn't real life. At least the card's not, so we can make it whatever we want. So I wanted to bring the blue in to the card. So now I'm going to take a 4.5 by 11 piece of lapis cardstock, and I will score it down the center at 5.5 and fold that over, reinforce it with a bone folder, and that's going to be our card base for today. So I'm going to take my absolute favorite double-sided tape by Altenew. It comes in different widths. I think this is the 1/2 inch. And I will layer that down. It is extremely sticky. So wherever you put it and wherever you put your cardstock down, that is where it's going to stay. So do your best to make it straight. And if it's not straight, maybe trim your cardstock, or I don't know, just be careful when you put it down. It's really sticky, so it stays forever. The backers come off super easy, so that's why I love it too. I just use my little pick tool to help get it off. And then I have the foam tape roll from there too, and that is also my favorite foam tape. It's amazing. So Altenew for the win there. So here I'll put the front of the card on, and then right after this I will put my white gel accents on here. But I forgot to do it on video. So thanks for stopping by today. If you liked this card, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye now.